Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. We're gonna take a deep dive into companions, ranking them up. We're gonna rank them up by two factors: who's the most fun to play with and their usefulness in combat, as well as skill checks. Judging by this photo, we got two more companions that are coming up in beta, and probably at least three more on top of all of them we already got into early alpha. So there's gonna be like 13 to 15 companions once the full game is out. We are going to talk about those that are right now in alpha. I don't know about you, but I find companions extremely important for the story and for the immersion, of course. From what I've seen so far, they are all brilliant. But let's rank them up, see how they fare inside the game. Let's go.
Are you ready for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader? As I am. The Emperor protects.
The first one we got here is Abelard. Abelard is a classic I'll do it all to help the Rogue Trader, your main seneschal on your voidship flagship. He is a classic boring type of commander that does all the dirty job for you as a Rogue Trader. Abelard is a classic tanky fighter. He's there to soak up damage and deal melee damage to enemies, but mostly he's there for taunting. Judging by his characteristics, you can already tell that he is very proficient at melee weapons and soaking up damage with toughness. As far as skill checks go, he is all around. He does nothing good and he does nothing bad. I guess they're gonna rework his skill checks. Right now he's quite useless in those skill checks. During the fight, as I said, he is there to taunt enemies, to soak up damage, to throw a frag or two, to cover more ground with charge, close up on enemies, and basically that's it for him. We can call him like a classic companion, boring character. On a scale from 1 to 10, his usefulness in skill checks would be 1 out of 10. On a scale from 1 to 10 in combat, he would be around 7 out of 10. He's quite useful in combat. And on a scale of story, lore, from 1 to 10, I would say it's 5 out of 10, because we only seen one companion quest with him, and it was quite fun. I still don't know what exactly to think out of him. We're gonna see it on a full release, I guess. Right now, he's in a good spot for everything but skill checks. The next in line is Heinrix. I liked Heinrix a lot. Inquisitor that deals with aliens. Better to say Xenos Ordo Inquisitor. He devotes his life to fighting occultists and the arch enemy. Classic Inquisitor. Aside from Heinrix being a classic bruiser, he also possesses some psychic abilities during combat. As far as his special abilities go, he is exactly the same as Abelard, so frags, charge enemies, close up ranks, taunt, but his psychic abilities can also stun, make enemies prone, and reduce enemies' dodge. That's it for now in alpha, of course. He's probably gonna get even better powers on a full release. One of his best abilities is once he's out of movement points and action points, he can refresh all of that with momentum and basically play twice in a round. It can be extremely useful. Now, as far as characteristics go, weapon skill, or better to say melee weapons, is the highest of Heinrix. After that comes of course toughness, and he is solid in perception and willpower. Willpower, of course, because he's the Inquisitor and he needs to resist the arch enemy. Now, as far as skill checks go, he's extremely good at athletics, extremely high athletics, but everything else is all around. And he's probably gonna be reworked into skill checks because he is the Xeno Order Inquisitor for aliens. He is probably gonna get lore Xenos extremely high on a full release. At least I hope so. Right now in this state, his skill checks are a 1 to 10 and how useful they are in exploration. I would say it's around 3-4 out of 10. Because they are all around, only athletics are good. His characteristics, or better to say how useful he is in combat, he's extremely useful in combat, and I would give him easily 8 out of 10 right now in this alpha. And as far as lore, story goes, I believe this one is gonna be extremely important for the story, especially because of the Inquisition and everything that goes along with them and how they monitor a rogue trader. Story for Heinrix and his personal involvement into Rogue Trader story will probably 9 out of 10. Heinrix will be very important in this game. The next one would be Cassia Orsellio, your navigator. She is extremely important for exploration. As a navigator, she is there to guide your voidship through the Imperium, or better to say, through a warp. Every ship, every rogue trader needs a navigator, and we got an extremely weird one with Cassia. Cassia is a classic support, a leader. She gives an extra turn to allies, and that's her biggest strength. Once you spend points with your allies, she tells them basically to play again. She restores movement points, action points, she gives different buffs and debuffs. She uses stratagems to buff up the entire team. So this is a classic support. Do not expect a lot of damage out of Cassia. As all other companions, she is also there to throw a frag or two. She can shoot and deal minimal amount of damage, but she got Lidless Stare also, that's gonna cover basically the entire screen AoE damage, and her biggest strength comes out from all of the skills you're looking at right now. Buffs, 1 million buffs, and 1 million stratagems. As far as her characteristics go, she's very good at intelligence, willpower, and fellowship. Hence, she is a support navigator. It suits her well. As you can tell, weapon skill and ballistic skills are quite low, so she is a true support. Now, skill checks are something that's probably gonna be reworked for Cassia, cause right now she's got lore Imperium high instead of lore warp. A navigator that has lower lore warp than lore Imperium. She should have lore warp as the main stat. This should be 100 now on level 30, because she is a being that's made for the warp, for the material. So lore warp should be the main stat of Cassia, no questions asked. Aside from lore into Xenos, into warp, into Imperium, she also has high logic. All of her skill checks are all around, but better all around than on the previous companions I showed. She is extremely useful here. So, on the scale from 1 to 10 for skill checks, Cassia will get 9 out of 10. She's extremely useful in skill checks. On a scale from 1 to 10 for the combat, she's gonna get also 9 out of 10, because every team needs a support and she does it brilliantly. Small amount of damage, extremely high amount of buffs. And as far as the story goes, lore, everyone is trying to kill Cassia. She is special in some way, we still don't know why, but the entire universe is coming out for her, and this is your ship's navigator. She's extremely important for the story. So on a lore part, I would give it 10 out of 10 from what I've seen right now. She is mysterious, strange, important for the story, and her quest line is also gonna be extremely fun. It already was in alpha, so that's why I'm saying it like that. Cassia is one of the better companions in the game. Speaking about better companions in the game, this is probably my favorite, Pasqal, a classic magus of Adeptus Mechanicus, the servant of Omnissiah. He is there to deliver justice, to be brutal, and to open your eyes to the reality of everything that's coming up around you. So what is Pasqal? His skills. Pasqal is a bit of everything. He is very good in melee, he is quite solid at range, he's got single target damage, AoE damage, he's got it all. His biggest strength would be AoE debuffs and AoE buffs for your team. He can crit hard on enemies with his Omniscion X. He can deal a lot of AoE damage with his secondary weapon. He can mark enemies. He can mark enemies for your allies. He's also good at throwing frags. He can attack twice during the same round. He's a healer. Basically, he is all around probably the most useful companion in the game. His only weakness is his movement speed. He's very slow, but in return, he offers a lot. From characteristics, we can easily say that he's extremely good at melee damage, intelligence, and perception. Intelligence, perception means that in skill checks he sees stuff the others don't. He's got a high use of attack skill, and he's know-it-all Pasqal, as I like to call him. His lore, Imperium, Warp, and Xenos is also extremely high. To top it all off, he is a phenomenal healer. Basically, this is your best all-around skill checker, Pasqal, and the best all-around combat companion. So on a scale from 1 to 10 in skill checks, Pasqal is gonna get 10 out of 10. On a scale from 1 to 10 in characteristics, how useful he is in combat, he's gonna get 9 out of 10. And on a scale of lore, story, writing for him is just freaking phenomenal, by the way. I loved every conversation Pasqal was involved in. He's freaking brutal. He's gonna be extremely important for the story. So on the scale from 1 to 10, 10 out of 10. Pasqal is pure immersion in Rogue Trader. Yrliet is a classic, the only alien companion in the game, an ancient Eldari. Basically, she's there also to communicate with Eldari that you're gonna encounter during your run. Yrliet should be your highest damage output as far as weapons go. She is a sniper. She shoots 3 screens away on enemies, and she can do it multiple times in a round, especially if she's surrounded by leaders that gonna give her extra rounds non-stop. She can be extremely useful with the right team composition. As far as her skills go, she's very simple to play. You mark enemies, you put your sight on them. When they move, she shots. When it's her turn, she hurts a lot. High crits, non-stop crits. She shoots 3 screens away from her. Classic sniper with classic sniper skills. As far as characteristics go, of course, ballistic is the highest because she is the sniper and that's the only thing she needs. The rest goes to dodge and the agility, so she can dodge enemies' attacks. Basically, how you wanna play her is under full cover, far away from combat, picking out enemies one by one. Yrliet, as an Eldari, she is all around as far as skill checks go, and I don't like it. The only good thing about her is high awareness, so she can spot traps, doors, loot, and so on, everything that's hidden basically on a map. But all other skill checks, they're just not that good. She's solid at demolition, but there are companions that are better in demolition than her. She probably needs a bit of rework as a sniper, so she's got some other useful skill aside from awareness. So our alien companion, our Xenos Eldari, from 1 to 10 on skill checks, I would say she's around 6 out of 10 because awareness is important in the game if you want to discover more stuff. On a scale from 1 to 10 in combat, this is clean 10 out of 10. With the right team composition though, it's clean 10 out of 10. If you can make her play 2-3 times during your round, she can deal a lot of damage. And as far as lore goes, she is funny, her writing is quite solid, and her quest is to reach her homeworld, her craft world of the Eldari. I don't know how it's gonna be in a full release. It sounds interesting to visit Eldari's homeworld, and right now we didn't see much out of Yrliet in alpha, so I can't exactly say what's gonna happen with her story and how it's gonna evolve. If I have to rate it in alpha, story for Yrliet would be around 7 out of 10, let's say. The next one would be Sister Argenta. It's a nun with a shotgun, or better to say, this is a nun with a flamethrower and a ballistic weapon. Classic ranged nun that's going to hurt arch enemy, because that's her main objective, to kill the arch enemy and to pray to the emperor. That's how Argenta is. She is a classic soldier, a ranged soldier. As far as her skills go, she is basically useless until you build up momentum. Once you build up momentum and you got military excellence, that's when she goes from useless to the most useful companion in a game. Believe it or not, that's how it is. Why? Because she can shoot 15 times in a round when you build momentum. Yes, she got skills to build momentum. You can build momentum in a lot of different ways, okay? But she also has skills to raise momentum. So basically, how you should play with her is put your flamethrower, okay, and burn some enemies for 2 or 3 rounds from cover until you get your momentum. And then you switch to her ballistic weapon, alright? And you ramp up military excellence and wipe the entire screen. That's what she is. A soldier with 3 rounds delay. And then she becomes OP. Now, as far as characteristics go, she's a classic ballistic ranged damage. She is quite tough and agile, very hard to kill, and her perception to spot hidden stuff is also quite good. As far as skill checks go, she is basically all around with high awareness to spot hidden stuff and solid demolition so she can disarm traps. I would say that she's fine, okay? You always need someone to spot stuff and disarm traps. It's usually in CRPGs, it's usually rogues that do that stuff, okay? This is the soldier, ballistic soldier that does rogue stuff, right? Quite weird, but it's Warhammer 40k. No rogues in the game. We got Argenta, a rogue nun, ballistic rogue nun. Now, jokes aside, on a scale from 1 to 10 of how useful she is in skill checks, I would say 8 out of 10 because it is quite important to spot and disarm. On a scale from 1 out of 10 in combat, if you know how to play, if you can wait for 3 rounds, she is 10 out of 10. If you don't know how to play, she's probably 1 out of 10 because this is minimal damage output until you figure out how to play with her. On a scale from 1 out of 10 into story, lore, Argenta, I couldn't see much out of her, to be honest. She's all about praying to the Emperor and eradicating the arch enemy, and that's about it. Alright, I don't know what to think about the story yet. She's got potential, maybe if she can get corrupted, or it depends on what path you take on a full release as a rogue trader. But basically right now I would say it's 5 out of 10. The next one in line would be Idira Tlass, a classic Psychana. Alright, she is doomed to die and be claimed by the arch enemy. We'll see if we can save her or not during the full run. A very weird companion, I really don't know what to think about her. Very little is shown in alpha about her. What she is, basically, she's something like a mage, okay? That's what she is. What is she in terms of spells? I said it, she's something like a mage. Lightning, enhanced chain lightning, reduce enemies dodge, raise allies dodge chance, deal damage from afar, AoE damage or single target psychic damage, spell-like damage, weaken enemies, mark enemies, dominate enemies, pull enemies out from cover. That's what she is. As far as characteristics go, she's all around, and like basically all around. She's good at everything and she doesn't suck at anything. Solid ballistics, solid intelligence, solid agility, solid perception, solid willpower. I believe she needs a rework, so she's a master at spells. As far as skills go, I can say exactly the same for the skill checks. All around, like all around. Aside from good awareness to spot hidden objects, traps, and loot, everything else is whatever. I believe she needs a rework. So, on a scale from 1 to 10, how useful she is in exploration, I would say 5 out of 10. On scale from 1 to 10, how useful she is in combat, I would say 7, 8 out of 10. On a scale, how good she is in lore, writing, story, importance, we haven't seen a lot, and I would say 5 out of 10 for now, but all of that can change, of course. The last one in line would be Jae Heydari. Everything that I said for Sister Argenta, this is her opposite. She does exactly the same things like Argenta, but in terms of writing and lore, she is a complete opposite. This is a joker in your team, comedian, pirate. A classic thief and a smuggler. As I said, exactly the same as far as those skills go as Sister Argenta. Now all that I said for Argenta, throwing frags, useless in the first 3 rounds, then she becomes OP after round 2 or 3 when you build up momentum to shoot 15 times in a row, all of that applies for Jae here. Basically you remain undercover, throw frags, put some flame on enemies and wait for that momentum to build up. As far as characteristics go, she is tough to shoot at and she's got quite high ballistic skill, of course. In terms of skill checks, exactly the same like Sister Argenta, she is a thief, which means she is there to disarm traps, to spot hidden objects, and that's about it. On a scale from 1 to 10, how useful she is in exploration, skill checks, I would say 7, 8 out of 10. On a scale from 1 to 10 of how useful she is in combat, 1 out of 10 in the first round, 2 or 3, and after that 10 out of 10 because she can wipe out the entire screen with her momentum. In terms of writing and lore, she is the funny one in your team, the one who cranks up jokes, and I guess once the voice acting is out, once the story evolves a bit on a full release and so on, she's gonna be very close to 10 out of 10 as far as funny stuff goes. Again, there's at least 5-6 more companions to come out. These were only those from early alpha. Now let's rank them all up. There's exactly 8 companions to rank up. So position number 8. As the worst companion that I've seen, I would put Idira on position number 8. On position number 7, I would put Abelard. Position number 6 would go to Jae. Position number 5 would go to our nun Argenta. Position number 4 would go to Cassia, our navigator. Position number 3 would go to Yrliet, our sniper, Xenos sniper. Position number 2 goes to our Ordo Xenos Inquisitor, Heinrix. And position number 1 goes to Pasqal. Definitely the most unique companion that I've seen in the game, our Magus. Again, I gotta say it again, all that I said can drastically change even in beta and then on a full release. This was only for alpha. My opinion of how useful those companions are, how interesting they are, how they affect combat, story, and exploration. If I place someone on spot 8 or 3 or 1 and you disagree, perfectly fine thing that you disagree with that. Again, this is my point of view. I can't wait to see other companions so I can make a proper list like this on a full release. In the meantime, I'll thank you all for watching and I'll be seeing you on the next one.
Are you ready for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader? Because I am. The Emperor protects.